Okay. And we'll go for the agenda. Has everyone read the agenda? Okay. Any changes or corrections to the agenda? No? Okay. Then we need a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved, Guy.
Okay.
Second, Abby. Well, I mean,
Okay.
obviously.
Everyone in favor? Very good. Always good.
You get the next one.
Okay.
You get the next one, Abby, okay?
Okay, we'll take turns.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
So now we have public comment. Is there anyone here for comment from the public? All right. Hearing none, proceed to review and approval of the meeting minutes from August 5th. Has everyone read them? Any additions or corrections? I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Okay, I need a second. Have we lost Guy? We'll just presume that Guy has seconded it in the dark.
No, I'll second it.
Okay, thank you.
I'm bouncing around here again.
Okay, and all those in favor? All right, anyone opposed? All right, minutes are approved. We're up to 5.1, which is a new business of strengthening and improving communications with all community members. So I guess, Josh, is that yours to speak to?
Yeah, sure. I can start with that. So we have a few brand new things that are going to be coming down the line here. We're just like in the infant stages of it right now because we are using the ESSER grant money to fund this. But basically, what it is new features from our website provider, and their name is Final Site. And so what we're using the grant funding for is it's 4 things. And number 1 is our website and all of our messages that will end up on our website will be able to be translated for our English learning families. And so I've been emailing back and forth with our new English language teacher. Her name's Madison Bennett, with some of the options that our families are going to need, some of the languages that they speak natively. Because what's happening right now is, you know, we post things on the website all the time, and we send out emails to the community all the time. And those families are either having to attempt to translate those things on their own, and sometimes, you know, messaging, you know, gets lost in translation, or Madison is having to, you know, work with those families one-on-one and try to get them the correct message. So this will be a huge improvement for those families. So we're excited to implement that. The second thing is, or the second feature, I would say, or actually here, I'll stop. Guy, you got a question?
Yeah, just out of curiosity, how many families are we talking about? Because I often hear, you know, talk about this, and, you know, I never hear numbers. So
I don't know the exact number of families, but I know when I reached out to Madison to get a list of languages, she sent me like 9 different languages that our current families would need. I don't know, Chris, if you have a number on the.
I don't have the numbers off the top of my head, but I know the number has gone down significantly in recent years, Guy. So Barry City has the largest population of kids. I think it was in the 30s. And you have to forgive me, I don't know Barrytown and Spalding. But as Josh pointed out, it's complex because there are so many different languages we're talking about.
right, and so it could increase here in the near future.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed, it could.
You know.
Yeah.
So will the web service put in automatic, like if someone speaks Farsi, that they could check the Farsi box and everything will translate into Farsi?
Yeah, I believe the way that it works is they can actually like set their own preferences for like which which language they prefer, and it's supposed to remember it. But if not, there's always a button there on the website that it'll start in English by default, and then they have a list of options that we can translate to.
Hey, Guy, if you could mute, we're getting some feedback, I think, from your thing. I think it is anyway.
Yeah, I think I went away now. Any other questions
Well,
on that particular?
Something else that crossed my brain when I was reviewing this, there are also folks who are visually impaired. Do we have a opportunity on our website to make the website bigger for those folks?
Yeah, I mean, there's accessibility features that are built into web browsers in general. But that's part of what I always have to make sure happens with our website is I'm kind of like, I don't know, like the gatekeeper, if you will, when it comes to like content that we post, because we have to make sure that it's ADA compliant. It's no different than us being required to have a wheelchair ramp in the front of our buildings. Like, everything needs to be accessible, and our websites are included in that. So the thing that makes them accessible is not necessarily the colors we use or the size of the text or anything like that, but it's mostly for a lot of people when they're using accessibility tools, they use screen readers. And what it does is it'll take the text that's on the screen and read it to you if you're visually impaired. And there's certain ways that you have to post that content, particularly like with PDFs and stuff like that. There's certain ways you have to go about it for the screen reader tools to work properly. So that's one of the the biggest things, responsibilities when it comes to my website role, if you will, is kind of being the gatekeeper for that, because I know like Essex Westford, for example, like 2 years ago got hit with a lawsuit because their website was not properly ADA compliant, and they actually I mean, they're a little bit bigger than us, but they actually hired a full-time employee just to monitor that, just to make sure that every single thing that the district is putting out is ADA compliant. And so it literally is a full-time job, and it's a responsibility of mine, and I pay close attention to it as I can, but sometimes things slip through the cracks, but I do my best to make sure we're compliant.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion about strengthening or improving communication with all community members?
Andrea has her hand up.
Oh,
Yeah,
Andrea, yes.
I just wanted to get clarification. Is the translation feature for the website and for emails going out?
So what will happen is, and I'm gonna continue on this particular agenda item actually, because I have a few more things to discuss. But what you'll see going forward is our messages will end up landing on the website automatically in an archive, and anything that lands there is translatable. Guy, do you have a question?
Yeah, quick question. I could have missed it. Are the committee meetings still being posted on Front Porch Forum?
Yeah, Tina's doing that.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing this one, but I could have missed it. So I just wanted to make sure.
Okay. I know this particular agenda, I think, came out a little later than normal too. I think it came out earlier this week. So maybe that had something to do with it. Okay.
Thanks. That's all I had.
Okay.
And Guy, I'll confirm with Tina on that about how we're getting these out. I'll confirm that with her in the morning.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure whose responsibility it was, early on. I know we, kind of made a commitment to make sure that at least all our meetings are somehow posted on Front Porch Forum. I think it gets a fairly decent reaction. So, and again, I could have missed it. So, shame on me.
No, we can always go back and check too, because I get those emails every day, so I can go back. But I'm pretty sure this particular agenda came out a little later than normal. I think it was earlier this week rather than last week. So we can, any other questions on the translation feature? I just have like a couple more things I wanted to mention on this.
Okay. No, go ahead.
Okay, so that feature was basically the first feature of the four. The second one is we're going to be able to integrate our website with our student information system, Infinite Campus. And the biggest benefit to this is right now when we send out our mass mailings, we are having to manually update our contacts and import them into our mailing program, which is a very time-consuming process. And every time we get, you know, a new family that joins us, if we don't manually update them, they don't make it in there, and so it's not good. And so this will allow us to have a constant sync with our student information system. So these mailing lists will always stay up to date. There's no worries, that a new family comes in and they're not going to be on the list to receive an email. So it's gonna make us more efficient on our end, and also it'll be better for the families too. And to go along with that, our current mailing system right now is called MailChimp, which is a very popular mailing system. A ton of businesses use it, but that's one of the biggest downfalls is we don't have that integration with our student information system, and it really it's critical. So this new mailing system will be integrated with our website. It's a feature from our website website provider whose name is FinalSite. So it'll be all integrated, and since it's a product of theirs, when we send out a message, it'll just land on the website immediately. There's no manual labor to make that happen, and it's almost kind of like a like create the message once and post it everywhere type of thing, versus right now we're creating the message once and having to go to each little place individually and make sure we don't forget one. So it'll make us way more efficient, and people won't have to, worry that it's not landing on a particular platform, I would say. Okay.
Yeah, so who monitors that? I mean, who takes a look at it and said, oh, okay, everybody is, on it that we, want to be on it.
Yeah, so I'm the one who updates the contacts, and always, I just ended up doing it yesterday because we, have families roll in, a little bit later on the first week of school. But it's me that updates those, and sometimes if I'm in a pickle, I get some help from the IT team as well. But luckily, with once we move forward with this new feature, it'll be something we won't have to worry about anymore. It'll just be that constant sync, which is a huge deal. Andrea?
Sorry, I just want to make sure I understand it. So are we continuing with MailChimp and integrating that, or are you getting rid of MailChimp and going to something else?
You can call it FinalSite Messages. That's the name of the new tool. We are going to be using that as our primary mailing system. MailChimp, I think we'll at least keep around as like a backup option because it might still have its uses for it. I don't want to totally ditch it yet. But yeah, we'll be switching to that as our primary mailing system. And then just to wrap this section up really quickly, this is the feature that I am most excited about. All of this ties into each other. Like I said, when we create a message, it lands everywhere. And one of the places it's going to land, which is a brand new thing for this district, is going to be having a district mobile app, which will be available on the Apple Store and Android as well. And so with this, we're going to have to make like a campaign basically to have our parents download this app. So we're going to be, once it's ready, we're going to be, pushing it and, asking people, to download it in every avenue possible. And what this app will basically, the main function of it is it's going to have all of the things that the parents most commonly are looking for, whether it's lunch menus, calendars, maybe common contacts in the school, things like that, as well as like a news section. It'll include all those things that and so that way, the parents like have it at their fingertips at any time. There's no going to the website, searching around, trying to find the lunch menu and all that stuff. It'll just be there on their phones. And one of the best features about it, and I think will really help improve communications overall, is the fact that you can actually send push notifications to people through the app. And we can't rely on it as our only source of, notifying people. There's still email and there's still text messaging, but this will allow us to basically instantly notify people if there's an emergency or a school closure that day or anything. So that instant notification system will be a huge improvement, because like it is, when we send out our mass text messages, which we've been having to do lately multiple times this week, they take a while to send. It's not just like you hit send and they're there. It takes time to go through, the cell towers and everything. And sometimes it's 20 plus minutes before all of the texts have gone through. So this will help, speed up communication when it really matters. Guy?
Sorry. So I was thinking today before this meeting, I was taking a look at the agenda again, and it really wasn't all that long ago. I think Sonia remembers this, where we talked about adding a communications person. And I was trying to think, excuse my French, how the hell did we do this stuff before? We have come so far ahead. I mean, it's like, I just, I don't know how we did it before, and maybe we didn't. I mean, so I applaud you for making these great gains, and, it's probably moving faster than we all can keep up with, but, I certainly appreciate it as I hear it. I mean, I don't understand all of it, but, appreciate you having me around,
Yeah, thanks. I think part of the reason we're moving in this direction too, I think COVID had a lot to do with that. We're needing to rely on those types of platforms way more than we ever used to. And so yeah, I think it's going to be a good move, and over time, our parents, our parent clientele, if you will, is becoming younger and younger as time goes on, and they're on their phones more and more as time goes on. And so why not have this information, at their fingertips where they already are?
I think that sounds like a great idea. I think it sounds like a really accessible way to connect with parents. And I feel like it's just, I know from my professional point of view, that can be some of the hardest stuff, is finding a way that's really easy for people to access. So that sounds really exciting.
And just for clarification, we'll still continue to use, or will we still continue to use the telephone system, for example, for snow days, the all call or whatever that was called? Will that still stay in place?
Yes, that'll stay in place, and it's called Call 'em All.
Yes, call them all.
Yep. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Call
That's
them Ari.
yeah. No, that's the system that we currently use when we send out mass text messages and stuff like that. It's still that same system.
Okay. All righty. Okay. Anything else to add to that report, either Josh or Chris? And what's the timeline on this?
So right now we are in the infant stages of it, and so the whole integration with Infinite Campus is, we're working with the IT team right now to make that happen. So those pieces need to be complete before we could ever think about rolling it out. So that's a work in progress right now. Realistically, I wouldn't expect it this month, but I am hopeful for October that it could be something we could move forward on. And so the people at Final Site made it seem like it wouldn't be a ton of work on our end to get it up and going. There is going to be some work, on our end to get it going, but it sounds like they're able to take care of most of it. So I am hopeful next month. I don't want to guarantee it, but
Yeah.
I'm feeling good about it. That's a decent guess.
I think I would add, Guy, before your question, I think I would just add that I've learned in these last 2 months just how essential it is that we that to get timely communication out, we don't get stuck on the logistics of it. And just working very closely with Josh these last few months, I can assure you it does gum up the works, just the clunkiness of the technology. And we are really already making huge progress and also building capacity for, so if Josh is out sick for a day, for example, heaven forbid, others can step in and do it. He's done a great job training me, and we're going to try to have all the principals build up a facility with this as well. So we're able to work more independently to reach out to the people we need to. But this is really important work, especially for this year, for our goals. So it's exciting.
All right.
Guy, you still have your hand up?
Yeah, so I don't know if this falls under this agenda item or not, because I mean I wasn't around last week for the Barry city forums, and I think that's kind of the old-fashioned way of dealing with some communication stuff. Was it anybody able to attend those things? I know I think they included the school at some point. So anybody know anything about that?
Yeah, Chris and I both attended. What was it, last Wednesday night, I think it was.
Yeah.
It was a good conversation. There was what, Chris, like 15, 20 people there, something like that. It was in the basement.
Yeah, there were only 2 parents. I think it's safe to say the facilitators were a bit disappointed with the turnout. I mean, it was late, 7 to 8:30 on a very, very hot night. But it was a great discussion. I don't know how the earlier sessions were attended. There were, I think, 3 different times.
Mm-hmm.
You got to look at these things just like when we did the ESSER community forum a few weeks ago, right? Even if you get 5, 6 people come, make it worth their while, and hopefully the word will spread. I found it valuable. I think it was really good that we supported it and were there.
Anya?
The other thing I would say is that there were also 2 other sessions happening at the same time. So you had to pick which session you could attend at that time. And if there was something else happening, someone, they may have pulled people away. And then there was also the virtual option, which you were either in person or virtual. There was no mixing apparently of the virtual and so there may have been more people who attended virtually who had a completely separate, different conversation than what you were a part of. So it's just, it will be interesting to hear when they present at the end of the month what the results were of that final, pulling it all together. So. Sorry, I have a kitten who would like to play with me, and it's not time right now.
Yeah, I think too. I don't know if you got the email, Chris, but they had sent at least me a follow-up email. I think they sent it to everyone on the list, but it sounds like sometime towards the end of September, they're going to have a second round of these meetings to kind of make an action plan.
Yeah, and it would be good that whoever is coordinating that they would have a copy of our strategic plan. I think that would be really important for them to have that. Mm-hmm. So that, again, all headed in the same direction to work on that. Okay, any further information or comments on 5.1? No? Then we'll move to 5.2, the back to school communication report.
Yeah, I can start with that. So yeah, it's been crazy busy. I don't even know if those are the right words for it. It has just been all day, all night. And yeah, so one of the things I wanted to bring up, because we've been getting pretty good feedback about it via email and people just kind of reaching out to us in person. But I'd like to know how the committee feels about our new our new communication strategy of doing these weekly updates and trying to make them as clear and concise as possible. We've been getting good feedback, but I didn't know if you had any thoughts on that.
My only concern in reading them is if they're too close together, will our readership suffer from communication fatigue? That's just a question. So maybe if we're getting feedback that, or any kind of information that folks are no longer, there isn't a readership that there was in the beginning, that maybe we might need to stretch them out a little bit, stretch the time out a little bit.
Yeah, I think right now with how frequent the COVID situation is changing, it calls for weekly updates for sure. But yeah, communication fatigue is a very real thing and something that is always on our mind, because like, oh my goodness, there was so much over communicating that happened last year because things were there were so many unknowns and so much going on. And yeah, that exact thing is always at the forefront of our decision making whenever we're writing these things up. Guy?
Yeah, I had a question this morning about bus schedules, and the individual wasn't necessarily complaining, but was a little frustrated that the bus had shown up late, and then when she had her kid there at the right time, then the bus had taken off. I basically said, and I don't know this, but I think it's true. It's the beginning of the year, and I think people are, still trying to get, their mojo, and told her to be, patient. But how does that stuff get communicated in terms of schedules and stuff? And if a bus is going to be late, do people know that? What are they told? I guess, and I should know the answer to that, but quite frankly, I don't.
Yeah, and so I'll be quick, Chris. I was just going to say right now our bus routes are posted on the Barre Town website and on the Barre City website for people to view. And then as far as this week, we've been getting notifications if it looks like a bus might be running late, and but sometimes we don't always get those notifications as early as we should because of just communication issues on the other end.
I would add that, on the first day of school, it wasn't a 10-15 minute late situation. It was nearly an hour. And Josh and I didn't find out about it. It was just, first day stuff. And people were understandably frustrated and upset. So that's why I sent out a mea culpa yesterday and to everybody. And we are really trying with the limited number of bus drivers we have, the longer routes up in Barre Town, you name it, a lot of different things kind of snowballing at both schools to make this work. So we're making progress each day. In the vast majority of people, Guy, that I've talked to, even when frustrated, get it. It's the first week. But we do want to be very aware. If we're sending texts every day, people are going to stop looking at them, right? To Alice's point. But there is so much coming at us right now. We've got to be very judicious about what we're going to share and when. Some of it we just have to share. Like tomorrow, for example, I'm going to, Josh and I were talking about this before this meeting. I'm going to want to send out a very brief message about our first COVID cases in the district that happened today, and how our strategy is different. We're not notifying the entire district anymore. We're just going for the cohort that's affected, and how that's going to work going forward. We got to test it today, and so far according to Jen Lyon, our COVID coordinator, we've gotten good feedback on it for, a tough situation. But that's a case where the community is going to get 2 of these things in 1 week. It's just the nature of the beast right now. We feel it's important to share. But we'll be thoughtful with everyone. And hopefully we can get to the point where we're sending more, more like upbeat, kind of kid-centered video type stuff, like what I sent out in the week before school and what some of our principals have been sending out. That's the stuff that, 1-minute quick videos that people can choose to look at or not. But that's the stuff that can really can be helpful too.
Did you have your hand up, Sonia?
Yeah, I mean, the question was, how do we like the weekly community updates? And I think they're fabulous. Honestly, I don't think they're too long. I don't think there's too much information. I don't think they're too often, especially if you take into consideration that some people who are getting the updates, it's through Front Porch Forum or Facebook, and they're not tied into the school at all. This is the only thing that they're seeing from the school. So that's really not too much at all once a week. And if you get to the point where it's, kid-centered, there's an art show, there's a spelling bee, there's this awesome thing happening, then that's fabulous. We're not there yet because we have just really important things to communicate. But I think that once a week is really important. I recognize that probably for parents, the beginning of the year is always information overload. It doesn't matter regardless of the year and regardless of how you're communicating. There's always a lot of information to get to parents. And for parents who want the information, I think having it all available is good. It's better than not having it available. So I would just keep doing what you're doing. I think it's good.
Awesome. Thank you. You guys, we're getting like thousands of hits on these things. We're not talking hundreds, like lots of hits. So it's getting out there. And Sonia, your point about the whole community, not just parents, I think is a huge factor in giving people perspective, especially as they're talking about the financial end of things, about what is, where their tax dollars are going. And the more they know, the better, in my view. So appreciate that feedback.
I wanted to bring up another point too, and I haven't even told you this yet, Chris, but earlier in the week, I was at the Central Vermont Career Center, and as some of you may know, their digital media arts 2 instructor last year had left, so they had hired a new one this year, and I was speaking with the digital media arts 1 instructor, Matt Bingeno, about him, and he had nothing but great things to say. And so, anyways, the other day I went to go meet the guy. And very, very nice guy, very, very cool. And the first thing that came out of his mouth, he's like, "Let's collaborate." He's like, my students are going to be, looking for projects. They're going to be ready to go. He's like, "Let's collaborate." And I told him, like, we got a superintendent who's good on camera. he knows how to talk. And so, and yeah, he was super excited about that. So Chris, at some point we'll have to go pay the guy a visit. But yeah, he's all about, us making some more videos and have them be actually student made. So that'll be very cool in the future.
Tell them I'll do
exciting to
anything.
hear.
I'll do anything, Josh. So
all right.
Okay. Anything further on our back to school? Any questions, any concerns, any more information? All right. We'll move forward to 5.3, recap of board engagement document.
Yeah, so this document I had first made about a couple weeks ago, and Sonia, you were right on it and left me some comments, and then these last 2 weeks have been so busy that it took me until today to really address them. And so so kind of where the document sits right now, we have almost all of it. I would say all the links and stuff go towards Barry, except for one section, which I believe is on the Freedom of Information Act. But yeah, at this point with the document, I don't know exactly how the board wants to engage with the public as far as like the little details and stuff, and you know, the numbers and procedures. So I definitely would be looking for a little more guidance on that to try to finalize it, because I would imagine at some point you want to show this to the board.
Oh, yeah, I think that's what their intent, the intent of the board is to be able to review it, so that everybody, both on the board and in the community and in the school community, are all on the same page and understand what that means and how it applies to what the board is doing.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know, maybe someone can answer this. Is the agenda set for next week? Sonia?
Not yet. Not yet.
Okay. So, I mean, if, you know, by tomorrow or something, if we can get it into a place where, you know, you feel comfortable with it in a draft format, you know, we can certainly, you know, add that to next week or whatever.
Yeah. If you feel like, and the communications committee feels like it's ready to go to the full board for, you know, a conversation, we can review it right now and then not necessarily have any action on it. We can just review it and then let people, you know, we can put it on the agenda again for our next meeting or next month, and let people, you know, if there's any feedback from community members, if there's any feedback from the board, if there's any, you know, just things that people want to kind of like think about and marinate a little bit, then that would probably be good. I think that having the full board weigh in is really important. It's definitely, I think the whole board needs to be behind what the, you know, what our, what we're putting out there for how we're going to engage with the community. So.
Yeah.
And that it's not something just for this particular board, but it would become a practice of whoever is on the board with that type of a document.
Yeah. And obviously things can be amended. I mean, I know we had talked about, you know, we talked about at our last board meeting about adding listening sessions, and we are definitely going to move forward with that. But, you know, I think that this document can be amended as we need to, you know, so I would think we can add a section about, you know, community forums, listening sessions, you know, things like that if we wanted to. As we move forward with that.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's a little difficult for me only because I don't know exactly the board's vision on this particular topic. So I definitely would appreciate any edits or comments or anything like that from all of you. Just because, you know, I can't really, you know, edit anything in particular without knowing that it's correct. That's all. But as far as like all the policies and procedures that it references and stuff, I've made sure that all connects to us. But as far as, you know, the fine details and stuff, I just don't know what the board's vision is on that to rewrite it and make it exactly what you're looking for.
Then should we guarantee that it gets on the agenda for this coming meeting, and we'll have those questions that we can ask of our fellow board members, you know, that picture of the vision, and then you Josh can work on finalizing that.
Yeah. Because I mean, realistically, if there's feedback on it at the next meeting, that gives me a full 2 weeks to make, you know, any edits that are needed, right. And then a final version of it can be shown.
Can I just interrupt for my notes? Are we talking about for next Thursday's school board meeting? I'm sorry, I had to step away for a sec.
Yeah, talking about the board engagement document, and to try to get feedback on it at next week's board meeting.
Okay.
I had asked if the agenda was set yet or not, and so
but we're gonna get it out tomorrow. So
yeah,
let's just check in with Tina on that tomorrow, Josh.
Yeah, so we'll just want to have like a draft ready so that way Tina can link to it or add it into the packet or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, I think having it in the packet would be an excellent idea, because then people actually have it in their hand that they can read and analyze and things like that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So are we set on that? Have we, anything else that this committee would like to add to that question of the board engagement document? All right. Hearing none. It looks like we really don't have any old business anymore. We're starting a new year, so it's all new business, and we'll have some old business next time. Is there any other business to come before this committee? No? Any items for a future agenda?
I think I can at least address like those new features that I was talking about. Maybe that could be the same thing of, the same agenda item of strengthening communications. I think that's fine. I'm not going to guarantee that they're going to be in place by then, but hopefully we're way further along in the process by then, like almost ready to roll out. So
Yeah.
I would add, Alice, for our next meeting, Josh and I would really like to get feedback on our COVID-related communications. We had our first test run today. A lot of what I heard when I came into this job from community members was tons of frustration with how that all went down last year. Very understandable. We are really, really trying to be thoughtful and compassionate about reaching out to people with this stuff. It's a hard email and text to get. So I just want to, I want to get feedback from you guys. We're going to solicit it from the community as well. It's really important we get this right, because this is sensitive stuff. And I think a month from now, I hate to say it, but we're going to have more cases. And it's like, how is the community responding to how we're reaching out to them with this stuff? It's absolutely essential feedback we got to get. So if we can get that on there.
Yes, and also if you could bring to us anything that you're getting as well, because sometimes things go directly to the superintendent's office that don't necessarily come to the board. So if there's anything that really stands out as an important piece that we can deal with as a committee, that would be a really good thing. But in the meantime, we'll work on it. Do we have any further guideline from the state on how to what we're doing and how we're doing it?
It's the Mr. Allen, Mr. Hennessy show, okay. It's really, I don't mean to be facetious, but they're giving us some templates, but generally we're on our own, and we've got our COVID coordinator, Jen Lyon, and Leslie Babick, our HR assistant here. We have a small core group of called a COVID team, and then we reach out with the nurses and administrators. But the four of us have been able to work, Josh, I think pretty efficiently, and we got a lot done today on the fly. And we're getting good feedback from from the Barry City team who was affected by it today, and we were able to take it on, so they didn't get swallowed up by it today. Because I know as a principal, oh my goodness, in the middle of a school day when that happens, we were able to relieve some of that pressure. And so, yeah, I think Josh and I will have a lot of feedback and information if we're meeting in early October, because unfortunately we are going to have more cases. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. I hate to say that, but it is. It's true. There's too much in the area right now.
Okay, so we'll put that with a COVID communication with a bullet. Andrea, something?
Yeah, in the parking lot, we do have the SHS promotion to out-of-district schools. And seeing as most parents make their decisions in December, and a lot of them are already set in tradition of going elsewhere. I'm going to suggest, as one of those out-of-towners, that you start discussing that sooner rather than later to get Spalding promoted, generously promoted.
Yeah, we can definitely add that, because it's usually this time of the year that I usually connect with Rye Hoffman, the head of guidance, and he usually spearheads a lot of those promotional materials things. But I will say, just I think we should add that as a topic. But I will say, through the website contact form lately on the high school, we've been getting a lot of parents either moving into the area or parents that live in like Washington, Orange and stuff, like reaching out, just asking questions about our schools. And that contact form goes to myself and Brenda Waterhouse. And Brenda is also always great about getting right back to those families with more information.
That's really good to hear, because people are so set in tradition of going to another school. And yeah, Spalding's an awesome school, and the more students you can recruit, it's free money. You know, you don't have to add to staff, but you're getting all that tuition, so, and upping your head count. So yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
I have a bit of like insider intel. It is public knowledge because it's happened at the Echo Valley School Boards, which I happen to recently become a part, like a regular attendee of. Echo Valley is currently having a committee
it's not
to
completely
readdress, but to look at the high school choice options they have right now. Right now, they're just gathering information and looking at what that means for the community financially and what next steps would make sense. So this is probably a really good time to consider reaching out and connecting with them about any sort of high school choice connections.
Awesome. Good to know. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's really important. All righty. Any additional future agenda items? Anything else from the parking lot, Andrea?
I'm not really seeing anything. Yeah, you've got bridging the community with teachers and staff, but I think that was going to be for once things maybe slow down a little bit after school is in session. And and then recognition of staff and students and athletes. So yeah, those weren't anything too pressing, I don't think.
Right. Okay. Guy, you have a hand up.
Yeah, I know we wanted to put this off a little bit, but the whole branding issue at some point, in terms of trying to promote us as one district and how we can do a better job about that. I just don't want us to forget about that. But I know there's a lot of stuff on the table, so I just want to mention that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if I had it my way and I could make other things disappear, I would make that one of my top priorities, because I think it's super important. But yeah, we just got bigger fish to fry at the moment.
I think Josh, it just might have been an oversight that somehow it got deleted from the parking lot.
Yeah,
because branding and logo should be in the parking lot. So I'll put that in the minutes. I think that was just an accidental deletion, and I'll put that it should be added back in.
I think what happened actually was, I think it got removed when we were in the middle of our mission, vision, strategic plan process, because we were basically saying that the rebranding cannot happen until that's complete.
Right.
And now it is. So yes, we should re-add it.
All righty. So moving forward, if we have all our items for future agendas, our next scheduled meeting is October the 7th. Good grief, October. So we'll keep that in mind. We'll put it on the schedule and move forward.
So Alice, just one final comment. Well, no, Sonia will have the final word. But if you're wondering why I'm wearing my mask around my chin, I'm scared that things might increase, but I also have never been able to grow a beard, so I want to look like Josh and Chris. So I'm hoping that one way or the other, I'm going to accomplish what I'm trying to accomplish. If I can't grow the beard, then I'll be ready with my mask in case COVID comes back. So that's the explanation. Okay.
That's awesome. Thanks, Guy, for that. Alice, I have a quick question about your next meeting. It's on October 7th, which on my calendar also shows as the VSBA Central Vermont Regional Meeting that's happening that same day. And I would encourage all board members to attend that. And so I'm wondering if we could talk about changing this meeting to a different day. Because ideally, the more people that can go to the regional meeting, the better. And I think it's virtual. I think it's online, and the actual like annual thing that happens at Lake Maury is going to be in person. That was the intent. I don't know if those plans will change, but if we could talk about potentially changing it, that would be great.
So quickly looking at the calendar for October, it looks like if we want to leave it on a Thursday, the only other Thursday that's available is October 21st.
I'm not available that day.
Okay. And we could always change it from a Thursday too, but I know that sometimes gets complicated.
Can you see if
Suitable to
there's,
have it on a day other than a Thursday?
Josh, can you see any other open days?
Every Wednesday in October is available. So, I mean, it even could be the night before October 6th. But yeah, it looks like every Wednesday in the month of October, there's no committee or board meeting that night. So it could be a different Wednesday too.
Keeping it in that same range keeps us on schedule, so we're not having a short period of time or a big gap between meetings. Does October 6th look appropriate for members of the committee?
Yep, I can make that work.
Yeah, me too.
I agree with your logic there about kind of keeping it in the same time span.
Yeah. Okay, so let's just change that then to Wednesday, October 6th,
Thank you.
5:30 p.m. With an open end time. Yes. All right. Anything else around the table from anyone? Anything? Well, hearing none, we will have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Second, yes. All those in favor? Okay, everybody's in favor. Have a wonderful evening. It looks like it's going to be a very beautiful evening, so get outside, breathe fresh air. You guys in particular from the central office, get outside and breathe fresh air.
I will.
Good night.
Okay.
Have
Good
a good
night,
night,
everyone.
Right.